This is the fight for equality. Megan Rapinoe led her teammates 3 months before their tentpole tournament to sue the U.S. Soccer Federation for equal pay, according to Sports Illustrated. If more young girls are encouraged to participate in sports due to an equal pay wage, many sports industries, news channels, and the general public will benefit. Being a female athlete myself, it is infuriating to me when I hear that men's sports bring in more money than women's as justification for why males should remain being paid more. I believe that female athletes should be paid equal to their male counterparts, specifically the U.S. women's national soccer team, because they generate the same amount of money, they are increasing in media coverage, and the field is just as competitive with equal performance level. The U.S. women's national team actually generates about the same amount of money as the men's team, maybe even more. When speaking about money in generation sports, many things must be accounted for, such as sports merchandising, ticket sales, ad buys, and among many others. But money generation boils down to the fandoms, ultimately. Sports have always been considered appropriate as an interest for men. The men's fandom of sports has been built upon years of constant gender norms that formed a natural bias in interest in sports towards men. Which is why, in contrast, an interest in sports has been seen inappropriate for women time and time again. However, this had changed after the women's national soccer team in 2015's FIFA World Cup win. Many times, after a boost in careers such as this, companies will invest in these teams, looking at it as a smart business decision, as they will generate much more money. Liesl Goecker, writer of The Swaddle, stated that Nike had invested heavily in this year's World Cup, marketing it like crazy in order to build up a fan base. And that fan base came through with the return. The U.S. women's national football jersey is now the best-selling football jersey of all time and gender on Nike.com. With all the evidence presented, it is baffling how the U.S. women's national team, which at this point has exceeded the U.S. men's national team in both terms of total revenue and success, still gets paid less than half of their male peers' salaries. Another reason why women's national teams are constantly overlooked and resulting in lesser pay is the idea that they do not get enough media coverage. Many people believe that because men's sports are more enjoyed by the public in the media, therefore will bring in more results and money, etc. However, soccer has never been a primary piece in America's sports culture. Among the many problems faced by women's professional soccer is the patriarchal ideology that still prevails in American sports. The sport universe still embodies the stereotypical traits of masculinity, such as toughness, power, or aggression, and the features typical of femininity, namely weakness and grace. Therefore, women's sports are generally underreported in traditional mass media. The creation and development of the internet, which offers platforms to sports that traditionally receive less media attention, has offered new hope to fans and players of women's sports. Some time ago, women found more success in this domain than men had ever had. Roxanne Coach, PhD, Associate Director of Sports Journalism and Communication Assistant Professor at the University of Florida, states that more than 90,000 fans, including former President Bill Clinton, witnessed the U.S. women's national team beat China in the 1999 Women's World Cup final, and another 18 million fans watched the game on ABC. Social media is also considered coverage for sports, along with interviews and guest starring television shows. Because the internet has introduced a new kind of interactivity, new social media platforms in general, including Twitter, allow women's athletics to reach its fans directly, which could help its breakthrough in the American sport industry. There are two more stereotypes about women and men's sports that have been apparent for quite some time now, and it is the idea that men's field of sports are more competitive than the women's field, and that men's bodies are just better at doing what they do than women's bodies. First off, ease of winning has nothing to do with the compensation deserved. The field is the field, the prize is the prize. If you are at the top of your field, you deserve the top level pay in recognition of your top level performance. Women are stuck in this cycle that creates less opportunities for competitiveness. Fewer women have access to sports, which leads to fewer women having interest in sports. The fewer women that have interest in sports, the fewer women pursue sports professionally. And the fewer women that pursue sports professionally lead to less fans, which in turn leads to less money for advertisements, ticket sales, and then the cycle goes back to the beginning. Mercedes Carnathon, writer for the Seattle Times, claimed that the critically important lesson for the success of female leaders is to embrace competition. This, of course, is way easier said than done, due to the odds being stacked against the women in sports industries. This is especially relevant when people claim that women do not perform at the same level as men in sports or cannot do what men can do. First of all, women's bodies can do a lot more than we give them credit for. Sports science is a discipline of exploring what the exercising bodies can do and how to get them to do it the most powerfully and efficiently, and for a long time had only focused on men's bodies. Comparing women's brute and strength, women are far behind men in those fields, yes, but it is also like comparing apples to oranges. Women are competing against other women in their fields, not other men. They are training the same and winning the same, but the only difference is that women aren't receiving the top level pay. Kelly Megg concluded in her article in the Washington Post by saying, "Here's an idea. If you win 13-0, the most goals for a single game in World Cup history, you should be paid at least equally to the men's team." The global gender wage gap overall sees women earning significantly less than what men earn. Women have been fighting for gender equality for many years now, and a big part of it resides in the sports industry. Female athletes, more specifically the women's U.S. national soccer team, should be receiving the same amount of pay as their male counterparts. This is due to the fact that they generate just as much money as the men's teams, they are increasing in media coverage daily, and that they can do just what men can do. If women were paid the same in the workforce as athletes, it could lead to many memorable strides in the long journey of fighting for women's equality. Thank you.